Hello and welcome back to Saber Outdoors. My name, of course, is Mark Alexander, your wonderful host. And guys, today we are doing the bladed jig shootout. Guys, we are doing 10 different chatterbaits, shutterbugs, thunder crickets. We're doing 10 different of those, different sizes, different weights, because we have everything from a 3/4. I think there is a 3/8 on this table. I don't know that for sure. Please forgive me if there is. Guys, I'm going to try my best to make this look as good as possible, but guys, you could make this video look as good as possible by getting a membership, like, share, subscribe, comment, hit the bell notification. Guys, let's get into this. I'm going to show you my table. Right here is my table, full of everything. Let's start ripping and putting onto rods. This is going to be a really fun video. Don't go anywhere. All right, guys, so the first thing we're going to start out with, we can't go anywhere else except the original Z-Man chatterbait. Guys, this is the Kleenex of this particular kind of lure. This is the thing, when somebody says hand me a chatterbait, they may mean one thing or another, but this is the original. So it's where we're going to start with today. We're going to go to our underwater footage, and then afterwards we'll talk about it elsewhere, because of course I can't see the underwater footage till I leave. Going down. All right, guys, so I just barely got done watching the footage of the original chatterbait, and guys, I can say that I continue to be impressed with the OG, the original, because, you know, usually the original anything ends up not really keeping up after others begin to copy it, to improve upon the design or change the design. But this worked great, slow, without a trailer, with a trailer, fast. It really just did everything. Even with the hop, you could hear the blade kind of as you went up with it. And that was really cool. But gotta say, the original chatterbait is still a very fine bait. And I'm going to go ahead and keep buying them $5 chatterbaits when I see them, or for less if I see them. But guys, let's get to our next bait. All right, guys, so next up on the ballot, on the docket, on the thing, is we are going to try probably one of our most expensive. This is the jackhammer. Guys, these used to be like 26 bucks a pop. I think that this one was like, I think I found it at a secondhand place, probably the store, for like 12 bucks because I am a shopper. But guys, we're going to throw this on and try it out and see how it does compared to the original. I'll talk to you in the future about it. Alright guys, so I just barely watched the jackhammer, and I've got it right here in my hand. Now, the jackhammer, I was quite surprised. With no trailer, it was all over the place. I didn't realize that this really requires a a trailer to work at its optimal best. Now, I will say, even with it going side to side and up to down, the blade did chatter the whole time, as you could plainly hear. And even those short little bounces, it would try to start up. Now, I will say that I think the original started up faster in my test than they did in theirs, because I've always heard in theirs that it's immediately as soon as you touch it. But you can plainly see the trailer made a big difference with this bait compared to the original chatterbait. But guys, still a good bait. Definitely priced. Whew. I don't know if I can withstand that price too regular. But guys, let's look at the next bait and see how it compares. All right, guys. So number 3 is our first non-Z-Man thing, sort of. If you look there, it sort of is. This is the Bass Pro Shops Chatter Bomb XPS. I don't know exactly what that means. Extreme Pro Series probably. But guys, this is like $8 retail at Bass Pro. Guys, this is, some people say that this is actually a direct copy of a jackhammer. We're going to put them side by side here in just a moment. All right, guys. So you just watched the Bass Pro XPS Chatterbomb right in front of you, and guys, I will definitely say this is very, very similar to a chatterbait. If you even look on the blade, it says original chatterbait on it. If you look at the two side by side, they are really similar. Like really, really similar. I had trouble actually going back and looking. I had to look quite close to be sure which one is which. But guys, as far as this being a direct, like, exact thing as a chatterbait, it's not. It's similar. Like, especially in the most similar one was when they both had no trailer. You could see it had that up and down kind of swim action. But this stayed more true going straight with no trailer on it. So this was still a very good option, a very good bait, but it's not the exact dead center copy of a jackhammer. But with all those things said, let's go to our next bait and let's give it a look. All right, guys, so this is our first non-Z-Man related lure for this particular thing. This is the Strike King Thunder Cricket. Guys, I want to know, somebody maybe in them comments can tell me, why is this called a Thunder Cricket? The thunder I understand, but why a cricket? I don't know. This blade design on this is very different. It has that part in the middle, so I wonder if that'll make it run better, worse, the same. I don't really know. But guys, let's get it out of the package. Let's go give it a try. Alright guys, so I just barely watched the Thunder Cricket footage, and guys, I can definitely see whenever I'm hopping it, it immediately starts up, and I didn't notice this feature until I was here. So if I lift this up, you will see there is a channel right there. That channel is so that the line tie will move back and forth, so that no matter what orientation it's in, the blade will have a lot more likelihood of getting started. I was very impressed with this Thunder Cricket. And boy, man, was it loud. Listening to the footage back, I've listened to the other ones, of course, and you can hear them chattering, but this dude, I could hear this chattering almost as soon as I put it in the water. Of course, you all didn't see that, but as soon as this hit the water and started working, it started making noise, and that was very impressive. Very nice bait. So right now, guys, this one is the one that I have liked the best so far, seeing that underwater footage. But there's a lot of baits to go, so let's see if somebody can break it down. All right, guys. So next on our mission is the Slobber Knocker from Berkeley. Guys, if you're a wrestling fan, you will you will enjoy the irony of that particular name. But guys, I have no idea what this does or is. You will see the blade actually goes through the head. So that's different than any of our previous baits. Guys, let's get it out of the package. Let's get it on a rod. Let's get it in the water. All right, guys. So I just barely watched the footage, just like you did, and the blade and everything is super secure on this. I'll give you a closer look at that setup. But I will say that it didn't matter whether it had a trailer or not. It ran relatively straight, no matter what it is that I was doing with or without the blade. But I will say that when I was hopping it, this blade would not activate when I would hop. Now, it would make a noise, but it'd be just like that there. The blade's not actually working. Also, I'm not a big fan of the skirt, because you can see the skirt sticks to itself. I think that the skirt's not fully cut whenever you get it, and you have to kind of fluff the skirt. But guys, this is just fine, other than fluff the skirt and it doesn't hop too well. But guys, let's get to our next bait. All right, guys, so this is our first competitor from a small company, and guys, this is Advantage Baits. Guys, I had no idea about this at all, and if you look, they actually have a trailer already with this, and let me see if I can get it worked around. It's just in a bag. Let's get it out of the bag. I want to show you something very particular about this bait that is different from other baits about the blade. Not only does the blade have these here, it's textured, if you can tell that. So I wonder if that will give us more or less shine than the other baits previously. But guys, we're going to put this down. We're going to put this on a rod. Let's get it in the water.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry.
All right, guys, so you just barely saw the footage. Now, I had to slow it way down, but that texturing on the blade, I can see that as I'm working it through the water. It looks like a lot of little tiny diamonds, or if you're being more realistic, scales. And I really thought that was a sneaky good thing to put in. I will say that this blade design, I'm not so super sure on. I'm afraid that it's going to end up every once in a while getting kind of caught up on itself. But during my testing, it only did that once. So, a bait fouling up once is not really that big of a deal. But I did like this trailer that comes with it. I can put another trailer directly on top of it because that first trailer is integrated with the skirt. So I don't have to worry about taking the old trailer off and putting another trailer on. I'm just going to have that extra action back there doing action things. But this is put together with a little split ring right there. So if you wanted to, and if you didn't like the blade, you could just take the blade off if you wanted. Or if you did like the blade and you wanted to put a better split ring on, you could do that as well. Lots of variability, and I do like that blade design. So guys, very nice from Advantage Baits. But let's get to our next bait and see what it looks like. All right, guys, so up next is the internet's favorite fisherman, the Googan Squad, and we're going to try their clickbait out. Guys, this is our first bait that has kind of a wire running out to their blade. So I'm curious to know if this will run differently than our previous competitors. But, guys, there won't be no way to know until we go. Alright guys, so we watched the footage for the Googan Squad clickbait, and guys, I didn't realize until I'd done this kind of thing, this is a huge blade. Huge. Look at it compared to the original chatterbait. It is wider and taller than the original chatterbait, but it works really nicely. I will say, no matter whether it had a trailer or not, it ran perfectly fine, perfectly straight. It didn't matter whether I was screaming it in or whether I was just lazily reeling it. I will say that this is adjustable, so I could run this deeper or shallower. I'm not exactly sure how the adjustment works, but I did want to mention you can adjust it. Skirt flows really good, and it does activate when you go to hop it ever so slightly. You'll see that roll that this particular bait has because it has that hard wire directly going into the head. Now, I'm not sure if these balls are doing anything for noise making, but this is an exceptionally noisy bait. But let's get to our next bait and see how it compares. All right, guys, so next is another bait where there is a wire coming from our bait to our blade. This is made by three brothers. I don't know, this is the first time I'm trying any of their baits. I don't know if this is going to be great, terrible. I don't know how it'll compare to our I about said chatterbait, it's not chatterbait. I don't know how it'll compare to our clickbait because this is the nearest thing to our clickbait. I don't believe I have another one of these. I do not have another one of these that has a wire running up to the blade. So I don't know how it will compare, but we're about to find out. All right, guys. So we just barely watched the Three Brothers Baits do its thing. Now, I was concerned that it's up on this wire, and it's not like the Guggen Squad clickbait where the wire comes through and you tie directly to it. It has a great deal of freedom of motion, and I was afraid it would not click at all, not make any noise at all. But it does. It's a more subtle noise. So if your fish are really pressured, this might be your secret weapon to have a little noise as you're doing your thing, but it's not going to blow them out of the water like a louder bait would, like the clickbait or the thunder cricket. But worked really well. It didn't work immediately as you skipped it, so there that is. But it didn't matter if it had a trailer or not. No matter how hard I reeled it, it always worked. It always did its thing, and I never had to worry about it binding on itself, because you can see it has an incredible amount of freedom of movement. But definitely a good bait, and one that I would suggest to others from a small company, the Three Brothers. All right, guys, so our last in the package competitor is the Terminator Shutterbug. Guys, this is our only one of these that has a non-metal clear lip on it. All the rest of our baits have had a metal blade of some variety in some configuration. This particular one, if you can see that there, it is on there with just an O-ring. So you could, in theory, take this off and put it on other baits. But guys, let's see how this bait looks in the water compared to our others. Alright guys, so you just watched the Terminator do its thing. Now guys, for me, I will say that this blade does give it a back and forth motion. It does move the trailer and skirt a little. But this blade, this plastic blade, is not my favorite. It is too quiet, too subtle, and when you would go to hop it, it would not activate. It would not even do anything really. Honestly, for me, if I'm going to be that subtle, I'm probably going to take the blade off and just throw this as a swim jig. Because I think that's what Terminator has done, to be just honest. I think they just stuck a blade on their swim jig and said, it's now a shutter bait. But guys, let's see who our final competitor is and how it compares to this. Alright guys, so this is our last competitor, the last of all the baits. And guys, again, we're back to Z-Man, guys. We are using a Z-Man big blade. Guys, the big blade, I hope, is going to do big blade things, because, and you guys, you can see I'm trying to block the sun for you. So guys, this is 3/4 of an ounce. It does not have the same trailer as the rest. It has a regular paddle tail trailer, and so we're going to give this a try, and then we're going to go look at the footage, talk to you about it. Alright guys, so our final competitor, the Z-Man Big Blade. So guys, The big blade, of course, has this big gaff of a hook. So the trailer I was using for the other baits really wouldn't work correctly on this bait. I already had a trailer on it, so I used that trailer. So if you think that affected our test, that's your business, and that's just fine. So this was with a trailer and then without. Now I will tell you that just reeling it through the water, this thing has a base to it, like a lot deeper of a click than a lot of our other baits have had, and also a slower click. You could physically hear it, coming through there. Almost sounds like an old fashioned gas tractor. Just sounds really not nice coming through the water there. Now I will say that that it does not activate on the hop. But, and also, this does not like being really slam dunked, like really, really reeled fast. It doesn't like it at all. You saw it was kind of doing this and reel. It was still working, but the violence of the action made it so that it didn't really track straight, which some people may like. But, guys, that is all of our baits done. So let me gather myself up and let's get some summations. Alright guys, so you have seen 10 baits come through the water. You've seen me speak about them, so I'm not going to rehash everything that I've said. I'm merely going to give a quick sum up of everything. So, summing up everything, almost all of these baits are really good for what they want to be. The one bait I'd say that I probably will not buy again, I will not buy this Terminator shutter bait again. This thing, if I need a swim bait, I'll buy a swim bait. But it is too subtle, subtle for the things that I want to be doing. Subtle is one thing. Like the Three Brothers bait is subtle, but it still makes noise. It still does what a chatterbait is supposed to do. It still does what a bladed jig is supposed to do. It makes the noise. It makes the trailer wiggle. It makes the whole bait shudder like the shutterbug is supposed to, but it doesn't. And it's just not a very good thing. I do not like it as well as I do this Three Brothers. The Three Brothers is a subtle bait, but still does everything that a bladed jig is supposed to do. That's why this ranks far ahead, in my opinion, than that Terminator shutterbait. But what are my top two baits? So my top bait is Le Thunder Cricket, and my runner-up is the Guggen Squad Clickbait. So, guys, both of these will work if you go to jump them off the bottom. There are features of both that I like the solid wire. I don't think that I could ever have a bass big enough to bend that wire out and ruin my fishing. I think the skirt is really nice on this. The design is really nice. And it's loud, but not quite as loud as the Thunder Cricket. The Thunder Cricket is a really nice, compact design, and it has that feature where this moves. And I thought that was really neat. And as soon as I pull it off the bottom, it starts doing its thing. So I really enjoyed the Thunder Cricket. Now, that's not discounting any of the baits in between. Those were all good baits and worked well. But if I have to put, gun to my head, if I have to choose one, I'm going to choose a Thunder Cricket. It was the loudest, it was the best working, and it's the one that I'm going to suggest to you. If you have a choice between these 10 and you're wanting loud and noisy and raunchy bladed jig goodness, this is the one you want. Now, if you want something subtle, that Three Brothers is a great bait to be subtle, but I'm not usually very subtle, as anyone that knows me can tell. But, guys, we're going to go ahead and put those down. I'm going to tell you, if you want to see more videos like this, you can get a membership for $5 to see all the videos that I put out as soon as they hit the internet. And there is a secret video down in the description of just the underwater footage if you want to watch that and not see me analyze at all. But if you want to see that, it's down in the description. All the companies are down in the description. I made a point that everyone would be able to find those companies if they decided to support those products. And by the way, supporting those products, also you could support me because they're not free. Nobody gave me any of these things. So $5. But if you want to continue doing the free 99 thing, please like, share, subscribe, comment, hit the bell notification, and subscribe because it costs you nothing. It's a free 99 way to help me. And that's all that I've got to say. So thank you very much for watching. We'll see you somewhere in the woods or on the water.